Good evening. Thank you for joining me. My name is Inbaal. I'm a psychic, tarot reader, and witch, and I teach tarot. I'm broadcasting at you live from right here in the UK on the Bigfoot Outlaw Network. You might be watching me right now on Facebook, live on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Twitch, or on Instagram. I'm going live on all of them, and after the live is finished, it will get uploaded to all the good podcasting channels so you can stay in touch with us. We are a whole network full of esoteric programming, from psychic mediums to ghost hunters to Bigfoot hunters and more. What I like to do here on the show is touch on different elements of psychic development. And today, I've got a fun topic for you. But let's see who is joining us. If you're watching, you can send a message to the screen by getting involved in whatever platform you're on. So if you're watching on YouTube, like Mark is, you can leave a message on YouTube, and then I can see it here on the screen and broadcast it to everybody. And Mark says, "Good evening, Inbal. I hope that everyone is good. Hello to everyone else here, old and newbies. Come in, we don't bite. Please remember to like and subscribe so you know when Inbal and others are on." I go on every Tuesday night. It's 10 p.m. here in the UK, 5 p.m. in New York, and I'm guessing 2 p.m. in California. So we are all across. We've got Wild Bill from from Facebook sending greetings, and then Reverend Wild Bill. Wait till you see this. And then Reverend Wild Bill from YouTube sending evening. Is it the same person? You tell me. Grizzly Chris, who runs the channel, says you can support me by sending stars. Stars help me earn money to make more content. Very true. Kim is here saying hi, everyone. Hi, hi, hi. And Lorna is here sweetly greeting each person in turn. How kind. Mwah. So, what I thought to do today, as it's going to be the 1st of October in just a few hours, I thought, why don't we do a fun horoscope for every sign in the zodiac for October. So while you guys greet each other, I'm going to pull up my October horoscope that I wrote today. I'm pulling it up on the screen. I have got my ephemeris here as well, because I've already I spent the day writing the horoscope. Then why don't we take advantage of that? If you want to get involved and let me know what star sign you are, then we'll see what the stars have in store for you for October, although I'm going to read all the signs. Reverend Bill says, I am an enigma. Yeah, I know, but I couldn't tell if you're one enigma or two enigmas. Are you a Gemini? Lorna Nicole very positively says, yay, horoscopes. So if you're watching it later, if you're listening to us later, this applies to October 2025. Let's kick it off with Aries. Mark so sweetly says, oh goody, this horoscope for each sign is going to be so much fun. I love this kind of stuff. You know my star sign. I know anyone that's ever seen you and ever known you knows your star sign. Lucian says, evening one and all, big love. Mwah. And Reverend Bill says, ninth zodiac Sagittarius. I'm not even going to hide it. I love Sagittarians. So unpredictable. Oh, Lucian couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep either because I'm doing this. But hopefully soon. We finish here at 11. I have some work to do. I have to send those horoscopes to to the Daily Express. But you heard it here first, and then I'll hopefully be asleep. Not too late. Kim says, I'll be back for Pisces. Yeah, I'll see. I'll see you in like an hour. Kathy says hello. Oh, hi, Kathy. We're doing horoscopes. Luciana is Gemini very soon. Right, let's get started. So, Aries in October. Let me take a sip of water. I'll let you know what I wrote, but then if you need me to add on to it, then just let me know. So, Aries, I wrote, your yearly full moon is here and it's time to start moving the energy. On 7th October, the moon is full in Aries, right? So, 7th important date. And this has a direct and exciting impact on you and those who share your sign. The energy of the full moon is that of achievement, empowerment, and direct action. You'll feel a clarity of vision and a consolidation of your past efforts. All the hard work that you've put into your growth is already bearing fruits. And now you can see what you want to do with those fruits. The next step in your success is apparent. So if anyone knows an Aries, feel free to send them this. Let them know that on the 7th of October, the moon will be in Aries, and so it points to success. Reverend Wild Bill says, by the way, I am one and the same. Rev and Just Wild Bill, old friends of Grizz. I guessed. I could see sort of logging on in both at the same time. And I thought it would have been such a bonkers coincidence if Wild Bill and Reverend Wild Bill, that both came on the show at the same time, were different people. Wild Bill and Wild Inbaal. I have my moon in Sagittarius and I love it. Mark says, I have not an iota of what you mean, knowing my star sign, if they know or have seen me. Are you calling me strange, young lady? Yeah, like not strange, perhaps original. Kathy says, good evening, Lorna, Revolt Bill. I'm a Leo. Wonderful. We'll be with the Leo before too long. Laura Nicole says that she recognized Bill being in the spirit realm for around 50 years now, says Wild Bill. There we go. So if there's any Taurus watching, the predictions for Taurus for October, written by me, are: your ruling planet is romantic Venus, the planet of love and beauty. This month, this planet goes through 2 peaceful, calm signs, and you go right along with it. Until the 13th, this planet is in sensible Virgo, which helps you make logical choices such as applying for a promotion or looking to move to a nicer home. From the 14th onwards, Venus is in elegant Libra, which pushes you to move your life in a more romantic direction, like letting someone you know how you feel about them, or start wearing vintage. So this is what's coming up for you if you're Taurus. Reverend Bill says Wild Bill and Reverend Wild Bill could be different along with the others in my head. Yeah, different characters. Kathy says my son is a Taurus. Amazing. So Taurus is having a calm, peaceful month, with the first half more around like sensible, logical pursuits, and the second half of the month more around sort of home-loving, romantic pursuits. Mark says, damn right, I'm original. In some ways, I agree, except for maybe north and east and south, but they are technically copies. Got it. Oh, Michelle is here. Michelle says hello. Hi, Michelle. We're doing October horoscopes. I hope you jump right in. So we did Aries and Taurus. Let's have a look what's coming up for Gemini this month. So I'm reading them from another browser. I wrote them earlier today. Gemini says, there's someone stirring things up in your life. It's not your doing, but it can impact you. Planet of rebellion, Uranus, is in Gemini all month long. And not only is this restless planet in your sign, but it's going retrograde as well. This means, Gemini, that you are taken over by a desire to break free. You might not see the way out. This is the perfect time for a bad influence to come into your life. Make sure that a fun new friend doesn't get you to go against your principles or freeze out an old friend. Stay in control of yourself and those around you. So, Gemini, that means that some bad influence is trying to make its way into your life, which could be a lot of fun. You could enjoy this bad influence and you could have a lot of fun together, and it could work in your benefit. It takes off a bit of pressure, but you have to stay in control because this bad influence could also be harmful if they try and turf out old friends. So hopefully that gives you a little bit to work on, Gemini. Bill says, but I am an ordained priest, a real priest. That's very cute. I'm a priestess. Kathy is welcoming. Mark says, see what you did there. Well done. You did what we did yesterday. Yeah. Lucian says, ooh, for the Gemini. Oh, Reverend Bill sent us a lovely donation. Thank you so much. I appreciate. That's really, really kind of you. Lon Nicole says, and today I'm going to be, and there's nothing to follow up. So why don't we jump to the next sign in the zodiac, and that's going to be Cancer. If you're a Cancerian, especially if you're listening to us a little bit later, this is what's coming up for Cancerians in October. The Cancerian life cycle, says the horoscope, goes around the cycle of the moon. During the new moon, you feel refreshed and excited for what comes ahead. Then 2 weeks later, during the full moon, you're empowered and fearless. In October, the fearless full moon in the courageous sign of Aries takes place on the 7th of October. So you will be full of beans, ready to send a job application or tell someone you fancy them. The new moon on the 21st of October is in the gentle sign of Libra. So you'll be feeling more homebound, ready for an early night and a long novel. If you're a Cancerian, let me know if that sounds like an exciting October for you. Oh, Lorna says relating to Bill's personalities, right? So he's going to be Wild Bill today, or is it going to be Reverend Wild Bill today? So when I do a horoscope, I use the ephemeris. These kind of ephemeri, I've always bought as like a single year. So I've got a few here. I've got to move everything to get them out. It's on the floor now. So I've got here the 2005, 2006, whole bunch of like 1 year ones. Oh, this one's upside down. This one's got coffee on it. And I know that they come also in a big book of like 50 years, but I never wanted the big book because I basically carry this one around with me around the house because sometimes I'll need it over here and sometimes I'll need another room. So I didn't want a big one. But I have been trying to buy the 2026 one for months and it doesn't seem to be published yet. So I don't know if this is going out of business or what, if people don't use them anymore. Because obviously you can pull up the ephemeris, on your phone. You can pull up the ephemeris on, see what it looks like. Very eye breaking. You can pull it up on your laptop, but yeah, I like it as the book. So this is the page for October, and it kind of shows you where all the planets go and which signs. It also sort of gives you angles and aspects and stuff. That's a little bit too much. So when I do a horoscope, first of all, I'll sort of look to see whether the sign I'm writing at that moment is doing anything that month. So I'll see, for example, when I was looking for Leo, and we're going to come up to Leo very shortly. When I was looking for Leo, there's not really any of the planets in Leo this month except for like the moon goes through Leo, but the moon goes through all 12 signs. However, when I was writing Libra, this month we've got, or this coming month, we've got the sun in Libra for most of the month. We've got the moon in Libra for 3 days like everybody else. We've got Mercury in Libra for a few days, and we've got Venus in Libra. So there's a lot to say about them. So what do we do about the planets about the signs that we don't have a lot to say about? So, for example, there wasn't a lot going on for Taurus. So when I was writing Taurus, wasn't a lot going on. So I looked for the ruling planet of Taurus, which is Venus. And then I described what would happen to the ruling planet of Venus. And then that gives an indication of what will happen to Taurians, basically. Well, Bill says, Lord Nicole, if I'm lucky, they just let me be me for the day. It's a cute giggle. Michelle is greeting. Reverend Bill says they go minute to minute, depending on what is going on. Very cute messages to each other. Mark says, where can we get them from? Or if someone wants to learn astrology, yeah, they're pretty standard purchase. The Raphael's Ephemeris is probably the most widely seen, the greatest spotted ephemeris, at least in the UK. I don't know, maybe in America there's like a local company there, but the Raphael's Ephemeris is like anywhere. So if you're like in an astrology shop, in a new age store, they will likely have that. Maybe less so for like a crystal store, but in witchy shops. Obviously, it's one of those things that you can buy online, but when you buy it online, see that you're buying it from a trusted seller, because buying duplicates is theft. And yeah, these are quite easy to get a hold of, except for, as I said, I haven't been able to get one since about June. It was supposed to be published like June 30th, and it's now September 30th. I've got to start making predictions for next year soon, and there's nothing. Mark says there's loads of stuff going on with Aquarius in October. I saw it earlier. Not as much as you'd think. There's a bit going on, but not massive. Rev says the answer is 42. Yeah, I think we've got a few of those here. Where is the answer to the life? 42. Oh, got them here. That is the answer. Rev Bill says Amazon. That's the thing. In Amazon, you've got stuff that's sold by Amazon, and then you'll probably get the right one. But then you also have loads of independent sellers that could be selling. You know, it's still like an unregulated platform. Laura Nicole says, it's a really good comment, says, I would imagine it's a lot of learning, astrology. It kind of is. And even though, you know, I work in astrology, I don't know that much compared to like people who specialize. And I've brought people onto the show, if you remember, when we had Sophia Morgana, who is writing the book about the age of Aquarius, right? So she was very knowledgeable specifically about the age of Aquarius. We had Ellie Adams here, who's very good at teaching astrology. It is a huge topic, and I don't know like that much of it. But I think the beauty in astrology is that you can go into it, even if you start in sort of a really small way. You can learn the star signs, learn the planets. Bit by bit, you'll see how they mix, you'll see how they blend. Reverend says, and thanks for the fish. Yes, farewell, and thanks for all the fishes. It's funny because I know the title in Hebrew, and it's not like exactly how it is in English, so I know that I say it wrong. Right, let's go to the next star sign for October. So we so far looked at Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. Let's have a little look at what's up with Leo. So I touched on Leo. There's not really that much going on. So let's see what is going on with Leo. In a way, when there's not much going on in your sign, that is also important to note. So for Leo, I said, the main astrological planets have been through your sign this year already. Mercury, planet of communication, Venus, planet of love, and even Mars, planet of passion, along with your ruler, the sun, have all influenced you over the last few months, and they're not returning until next year. This gives you the opportunity to hibernate a bit. Go catch some shows, do a bit of shopping. But your quiet season doesn't last long because you like keeping active. From the 23rd, the sun goes into the mysterious sign of Scorpio, which gives you some secret ideas. You start planning your next project secretly from that day onwards. So that's the message for Leo. Was it Kathy that said that she's a Leo? So the message for Leo is that it's important to rest, but if you struggle to rest, there's a reason to sort of start getting busy towards the end of the month. Final week of the month. Let's see what is up with Virgo. So Virgo in October has this. For the first 13 days of the month, it is a regular romance fest for you, Virgo. Venus, planet of love and romance, is in your sign, which will make you more noticed, more popular, and more in demand than you usually are. It is also the planet of the home, so a bit of nesting will be taking place. You'll prepare your home for winter by scattering cushions and fluffy throws in strategic corners and setting up a hot cocoa station within reach. If you're going to get into autumn, you're doing it with style, Virgo style. So I don't know if we've got any Virgos on right now, But that's what's coming up for you in October. Let's see what's coming up for the birthday kid, Libra. So it is Libra season. We're in Libra right now. We've been in Libra for like a week, but October has more Libra season than Scorpio season. And for Libra, I say it's a busy month for you, with some main planets going through your sign and leaving their mark. Mercury, planet of communication, spends the first 6 days of the month in your sign. This will bring you contracts, offers, and phone calls which can help elevate you in your career. Then, from the 14th onwards, you've got Venus, planet of love, in your sign. This planet also happens to be your ruler, so it's a double dose of romance. You'll receive more attention than you'd know what to do with, and enjoy dates and gifts to the sound of a love song soundtrack. So Libra, it gets really busy for you. And you'll see that the month's sign, so the sign of that month, and then the signs of the month before and after, and sometimes a couple of months before and after, feature quite heavily in the horoscope. That is because Mercury can only be the sign that it is on the same day, or or the sign before, or the sign after. So if we're in Libra right now, Mercury can only be in Virgo or Libra or Scorpio, and Venus can only be in the current sign or the two before, the two after. So Venus can only be in Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, or Sagittarius. So usually when I write a horoscope, the signs that are that season and a bit before and a bit after, they show a lot of activities going on, a lot of action going on. Lorna Nicole says, oh, wow. Reverend says, Scorpio is my youngest son. I was told one time I was a cusp of Scorpio Sag. So the conversation around the cusp is a little bit complicated. Because nobody has two star signs. Everybody's got just the one sign. However, the much held belief that some people are a blend of two signs, if they've nearly missed one, if they nearly made it to one, is because of what I just explained, that your nearest planet, some of your main planets, might be the sign before or the sign after. And therefore, if you're born, for example, in Scorpio and you're very, very close to Sagittarius, then it's very possible that your Mercury might be in the sign that you missed, or that your Venus might be in the sign that you missed. So a cusp is kind of a thing, but it's not as much of a thing as you would believe. Reverend Bill says, my son and myself is a carbon copy. Mark says, have you put rocket fuel in that mug? Yeah, it's good. And Reverend Bill says, I was told it had to do with the planets in the house. So there's the house system. When you look at like an astrological chart, you have the signs, but you also have the houses. So it's divided to 12, where each 12th is the sign, but it can also be divided to the houses, where the ascendant here will start you with the first house, second house, third house, and so on. It's a little bit complicated. I'm not going to pretend that I understand it really, really well. But the houses and the cusp is quite a different thing, because that has to do with the ascendant and the way that that kind of impacts things. Not to worry too much. Saying good evening, Sean, by the way. I don't know. No idea. But Rev says, I tend to relate more with the Sag. Do you want to send me, like, you might want to say, you might not want to give your date of birth in front of everybody, but let me see. Are you able to send me, like, privately your date of birth, and then I can check that for you? I don't know if you are able to send it, but it will be interesting to see. So Sagittarius and Scorpio, if you're in between them, are very hugely different signs. Scorpio is more like secretive, mysterious, quite intense, whereas Sagittarius is more colorful, playful, adventurous, into travel. So they are quite different. Mark says, shoot, I thought it was there. One does apologize. No, there's someone there, but it's not him. I think it might be the big one. Rev Bill says, I was told there are 13, the 13th being Ophiuchus, the snake charmer. Yes, but different, shall we say, innovations find their way into the system of astrology fairly regularly, with new planets coming in over the last 100 years, and some planets being, decommissioned. So when there's a conversation around a 13th sign, which happens, quite regularly, then it doesn't move everybody and everything. The system still works fine despite the discoveries. So Rev says December 19th, 1954. And then what, do you know what time you were born and whereabouts? Are you local to Grizzly? Is it Kentucky? So I'm going to pull up a different browser, and I'm going to put your details in there. I used to use the same, what do you call it? The same website for free start charts, but now you have to sign in, so not anymore. So let's put this date of birth. If you know your time of birth, that'll be amazing, but you don't have to. 12/1954. I'm just checking. Check. Wow. And Rev Bill says, I'm old school Cherokee by blood, and I do have the alien gene in my DNA. Amazing. Now I can't wait to see your chart. So let's see without a time of birth. But if you do have the place and the time of birth, that will be amazing. So when we don't know the star sign, we just put the like a midday chart. Oh, sorry, I just confused it. I inputted the date the European way, so 19th of the 12th, and it was saying to me, no, there's no such sign, there's no such date. Right. So because if we don't have your time of birth, we don't have an ascendant at all. So we don't know your houses, but what we do know is that your moon is in Libra and that you do have Venus in Scorpio and Saturn in Scorpio. Venus is the planet of love. So with your partner, you would be scorpionic. And Saturn is the planet of slow changes, discipline, all the grown-up qualities. So that's also in Scorpio. However, in Sagittarius, you do have your sun, like the sun sign. And you also have Mercury in Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius, like I said, is sort of very friendly sign, very adventurous, no filter. That's very Sagittarius. And Mercury is a planet of communication. So it means that when you communicate, when you talk, when you write letters, when you write emails, it's very Sagittarius, right? So it's like all caps, speaking your mind, being really open. And then what else have we got here? So your moon is in Libra, as we said. That means that your inner personality is actually sort of very gentle and very sweet. And it says that you've got Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of wealth and luck. That's in Leo. And it means that it really sort of suits you to be up on a stage in front of people, kind of leading people. And eventually the last sort of quite important planet there, is Mars, which is the planet of passion and war. And you've got that in Pisces. And that means that you are a lover, not a fighter. Let me know. I am curious to know if that makes sense. Mort is here. Mort says hello. Hi, Mort. How are you? Let's see. I just missed some messages. I've got it. Wow, Born Cherokee Reservation in North Carolina. Amazing. Mark says, how many windows do you have open? Got to love this. I mean, it's 100% live, even though some in the past I thought it wasn't. So I've got 2 browsers open, each one with multiple tabs. So in this browser, I've got 2 Hotmail. That's my main email. I always have 2 in case I have to cut and paste something from one to the other. 2 for my internet banking. I don't know, because when I log on, it opens another one. Then StreamYard, which is what we use to broadcast this. Instagram is open, and then the free chart. And then the other browser that I've got open, I've got a Hotmail, 2 ChatGPT ones specifically for course creation, my freelancer, what do you call it, like payment hub, my old website, my new website, and 3 tabs for suing Lufthansa with details of like legal stuff. So I've got a lot of browsers open. And amazing. So Rev Bill says grandmother was a medicine woman and great grandfather was a shaman. That's amazing. And he says, all I know is early morning, 1 something a.m. That's plenty accurate. We don't need much more accurate than that. So let's go back to the settings. So we're looking at North Carolina, no, Cherokee. Oh, no, it's not giving me Carolina. And see, will it do that? It gave me Turkey. Okay. Okay, we'll just go with anything. Doesn't matter. Date of birth again, we're putting 12/19, 1954. And now we know that it was around 1 a.m. You said 1 something, so let's put it as 1:30 a.m. And now we're going to know your ascendant as well. Ha ha! Wow! So both your ascendant and your moon, both of them are Libra. And that shows a very stable, very balanced inner personality. So you might be sort of quite bombastic on the outside, sort of quite a showman, but on the inside, just want to sit down, chat to people, learn their story. That is so much fun. Right. Bill is laughing. No such date. That would be about right. Yeah, because I put it the backwards way. I always get confused with the American way of putting a date. Mark says I have loads of Saggy in my chart. Yeah, and me. Rev Bill says I'm a fighter and a lover. That's what your chart says. Cherokee, about 15 at a guess. Yeah, have lots. Around 123. That gives us enough, because the reason we look at the time of birth is because the ascendant changes kind of every couple of hours. So just to explain what the ascendant is, when you're born, it's where the horizon is. So at the time of sunrise, the horizon is the same as the sun sign. Yeah, so now we're in Libra. So at the time of sunrise, the ascendant will be Libra. At the time of sunset, the ascendant will be the opposite sign. So at the time of sunset, the ascendant will be in Aries. And so when the day and night are exactly the same length, you've got the ascendant changing every 2 hours. When the night is very short, then the changes of the ascendant are quicker, and the changes of the ascendant in the daytime are longer, if you get what I mean. Rev Bill says that is spot on. Literally my favorite phrase for readings. So why don't we do a few more star signs for October? Oh, look at Luciane saying, feeling quiet. Had a 2-hour massage treatment today, zoned out and quite blissful. Incredible. I didn't even know 2-hour massages existed. That sounds exactly like the best way to spend any 2 hours on any day. So we went as far as Libra, didn't we? Let's go with Scorpio. So Scorpio, your fortunes for October are: from the 23rd, Scorpio season will start. And as the sun enters your sign, the moon has already been there for a day. This intense attention will suit you just fine, as you are an intense sign by nature. Mercury, planet of communication, is in your sign for 3 weeks this month, starting on the 7th. And Mars, planet of passion, is in your sign all month. This means a pile-up of changes and challenges. A new admirer moves next door. An ex starts to stalk your profiles. A job offer materializes out of nowhere. You may feel like hiding, but get ready in advance and plan who you'll say yes to and which contracts you prefer to leave on red. So that is the Scorpio fortunes. So that's for, did you say your son was a Scorpio? Rev Bill says, thank you, ma'am. Mark says, well, that sounds fun. Oh, very nice. Nelda's here saying, everyone, blessings to all. Amazing. Sagittarius Sagittarius fortunes, horoscopes for October. So Sagittarius, we're not quite there yet, I wrote, but when winter approaches, you start getting excited about the upcoming festive season. Free spirited and adventurous, you love the big flavors and tastes of midwinter, which coincide with Sagittarius season. Towards the end of October, you get a sneak peek. From the 24th to 26th, the moon is in Sagittarius, so some wild parties will kick off the dark season for you. Then, on the final 3 days of the month, the planet Mercury goes into Sagittarius, so you feel like it is time for glitter. You've waited long enough and you can start decorating for Yule just a little. That's it, Sagittarius. Hopefully you love it. Getting ready. Luciane says the only way to ease the fiber intensity. Oh, that is harsh. Rev Bill has got us ready, saying 31 days till Halloween. Babe, I'm so ready. I'm so ready. You have no idea. It is time. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Very, very sweet. Nilda, Luciane, bless. Amazing. Right. Let's breeze through the final few signs and see what's going on with everybody in October. So, Capricorn. To Capricorn, I said, you're an ambitious sort and like to keep busy, disciplined, and focus on work and self-improvement. In October, your ruling planet is in the intuitive sign of Pisces, which will make you view life from a more sensitive angle, perhaps a little less rigid than usual. As this planet will be going retrograde all month, you may have to accept a slightly slower pace of life. Even if you don't love it, this unhurried, romantic perspective can feel very healing for you. Taking it slow has many emotional and mental advantages, and perhaps even physical. So that's it for Capricorns. Capricorns don't like slowing down, but if they have to, they're going to have to. Rev Bill says, I'm ready, right, for Halloween. Luciane is being very sweet to Mark. Rev Bill says, at our house, the wife has 2 weeks for Christmas and I have 50 weeks for Halloween. Oh, I felt that in my bones. Yeah, as we're prancing around the stores, we were like, oh, look, there's Halloween stuff. And I will not buy Halloween stuff in October. 1st of November, when it's half price, that's when I rock in with a huge bag and a cold credit card. But not in October. Not unless it's like really good stuff. So, I call Sean Pumpkin. He calls me Boo. And I was in the range and I saw a whole display of pumpkins that say Boo on them. And I sent him a picture and he's like, did you buy them? And I was like, no. 1st of November, half price if there's any left. I really can't imagine the full price purchase. Right, let's go to Aquarius. This is the sign we've all been waiting for. Da, 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 da. What is going on with Aquarius in October? Right, says, great news, Aquarius. Excited? Your retrograde is shortly over. You were put on this earth to bring peace, Aquarius. Your humanitarian nature and attention and love to all living beings is a blessing on this earth and a privilege to us all. Pluto, planet of rebirth, is in your sign for a long time, which helps the planet become more like you and potentially bring about a long-awaited global peace. When this planet is in retrograde, it creates blocks and mishaps. On the 14th, The retrograde is over and the pursuit of justice and joy is back on. You'll feel as if blocks are lifted in your life. That is for Aquarius. Rev Bill says, my house is Halloween all year in all the rooms except the living room. What has the living room done bad? What has the living room done to insult you? Rev Bill says, Aquarius is my oldest son. So you have an Aquarius and a Scorpio. Quite a frizzle of opposition. That is quite different. Aquarius is kind of calm and hopes the best for everybody. And Scorpio kind of appears calm, but doesn't really hope the best for almost anybody. Let's have a look what the final sign says. So that's for Pisces. I don't know if Kim had gone and come back. I said come back in like an hour. Kim, if you're here, make a noise. Pisces says, Saturn, planet of discipline, is in your sign all month long, Pisces. It's been there for over 2 years and it's staying for another few months. It's not exactly news. Even though you're not a big fan of discipline, you can admit that you need it. So those 3 years of extra focus and the positive results that it brings are great for you. However, this whole month sees Saturn turning retrograde. This means that the lessons it brings feel long and frankly boring. Bring back a creative hobby into your life to help cope with a continuous workflow. So that's for Pisces. Very worky kind of month. Do something creative. So that you're not sort of too focused too much. Reveal says his friends call him the Altesis. Alternative Jesus? Is it? If so, that would be the Aquarius. Mark says, well, guys, we've got to the 5 minutes warning at the end of the show, sadly. So thanks as always to Inbaal. Thank you. And thanks to everyone else for being here. Catch you all here on Thursday. Keep safe. Thank you. And Rev Bill says, oh, sorry, I just messed up my whole screen. Rev Bill says, the living room is my wife's room. All the rooms is your wife's room. Reverend Bill says, Scorpio and Aquarius with a Sag in the middle. Fun combination. It sounds like a very not fun combination. And all boys. I can only imagine why you have to be a lover and a fighter. Mark says, I'm an Aquarius. My biological mother was a Scorpio, born 4th November, whereas my adopted mum was a fellow Aqua, born the same day. Luciane says, it's been lovely hanging out again. I think I will ease into sleep now. Love to you all. Good night. Great to see you. Kathy says, wonderful night again. Thank you so much. Laura Nicole says, thank you, Inbaal, and everyone in the chat. Thank you, everyone, for spending such a lovely hour with me. So I will be back Thursday lunchtime with Laura for Psychic Brunch. I hope with Laura for Psychic Brunch. I hope she's feeling better. Last Psychic Brunch she couldn't make it because she had lost her voice. So hopefully this Psychic Brunch will be healthier and easier to manage. Thank you so much for spending this hour with me. Make sure that you subscribe to the Bigfoot Outlaw channel wherever you might be watching. Have a great night and have a very lucky October.